So we've got the camper van in the shop. I've never actually had this thing on the road. I've just had it driving on the property, and that's about all it has ever done. So we put a lot of work into this thing about 3 years ago, and then got busy on my 64 C10, and this kind of hit the back burners. So I want to do just a quick walk around of this thing. It is a 360 727 power plant. I did do quite a bit of work to this back in the day, put a new booster on it, all kinds of stuff, new manifolds. I've done suspension stuff on this thing. Internally, that's where we did the majority of our work. And I've got that door locked currently. Yeah. Internally on this camper, we have done a ton of work. This van actually, when we bought it, it was a rollover. This whole side over here was just completely trashed. Everything was water damaged, all kinds of stuff. My wife and I, we redid all of it. It's got a cool TV, everything up here, auxiliary storage, just all kinds of cool stuff. It's a great little van. All this stuff folds out into a bed. The game plan is we got the eville shindig coming up, and I want to take this van because it's a 3-day event. They've got vintage camping, which that's what I've entered this into. We'll see what we can do. Currently, the alternator's not wanting to charge, so need to get that figured out. Need to get some licenses and insurance on this thing and actually see if it can move down the road. So when I said this thing was rolled over earlier, it was this complete driver's side. It was actually folded in a good portion, which I've got it out, but you can see through here, there's a lot of wrinkles on the side of this thing. So what I did was primarily took everything out of the inside of this thing, stripped it all, and then I took a porta power, pushed it all back out. Like you've seen, it has a bunch of wrinkles and everything. We patched fiberglass, got everything back in here. Everything's looking really nice on this van now, so we're gonna go ahead, move forward into hopefully getting that alternator charging. It actually has a brand new one on it. Recently, it seemed like it hasn't wanted to start charging. As you can see, it's had just slight bit of neglect to it. It's got the Halloween vibe going on. That stink bug just fully committed to that spider web. Alrighty, so day 2 of the video. I was out here last night a little bit, just tinkering around. Got a couple things buttoned up on the interior. Didn't film it, but I also did some stuff to the battery. I got some of the connectors and stuff like that that were kind of suspect because this thing is having a hard time with charging the system, which it's a Dodge. I guess that's pretty common. I did spend a couple minutes this morning though, looking up some videos, so we got some tests we can run on this thing. So these are the connectors I was talking about. They were just really rough looking, so I ended up changing this out too, so that'll be good to go. And all these grounds are kind of rough, but right now I'm kind of just looking at this voltage regulator back in here. I guess that's a pretty common thing for failures on these old Dodges, so I just pulled these apart and just checked, make sure they were pretty good and everything. But I guess the case itself is actually what grounds here, so I'm going to plug this back in and we'll go ahead. There is a simple solution to check this. I guess you can run an exciter wire from the back of the alternator, which we'll get that doghouse off in there and I'll be able to show you guys much better. But we'll run that from there over to the battery negative, and we'll have our voltmeter on here. And if we can see that voltage is jumping up, then it is in fact not our alternator, and it's probably going to be our voltage regulator. Or they also said there's a bulkhead in here, because the majority of your power runs through here into your amp meter on the dash and then back out of here. So it's kind of what I'm trying to do right now, figuring out all the magic of this Mopar. So what I've done is I've hooked a little alligator clip here to our output side of our 2 field wires. I'm saying all this like I know what I'm talking about. I literally just watched a YouTube video, but hopefully we could take this, run it up to our negative like I was telling you when the vehicle is running. We'll get our voltmeter on there, and then we can see if the alternator is then charging, and if it does, we know to move up to our voltage regulator. starts up pretty good, really. Now we just need it to charge. It's reading 13 and a half now. Maybe just simply taking that thing apart, the voltage regulator seemed to work. I don't know. Okay, so no change on that. So, man, I'm gonna say that thing's charging. It was reading 12 volts earlier. Now it's reading 13.8. When I first fired it up, it was reading 13.7. So I'm gonna say we've got it figured out. So tinkering around, remove the air filter. Looks like we've had some mice infiltration into the carburetor section, so pulled that real quick, and then we can clean all that mess up. Alright, one more line of attack I'd like to do to this old thing before we make the maiden voyage is this air cleaner here doesn't fit very good. There is a steel gas line that somebody's made up and it's interfering, so already started a little bit, but I'm just gonna come in here and start massaging this piece, because in here is where our actual breather sits. So I'm just gonna start massaging this little section here and get it to where it's not hitting no more. There is a provision here. Let me go see if that fuel line will sit right down in here. Well, it's not gonna be enough, so I'm just gonna go with my original plan. Beating up this ultra rare factory Mopar. See what we got. Getting quite a bit closer there. It's just an inconvenience for sure. Alright, with the alternator charging now, somehow kind of some magic. Another big concern I want to do is get our awning working here. So you can see this leg has fell out. I had it parked out here one day, had the awning all down, looking cool, and I didn't have it staked down, and I guess the wind got a hold of it and broke it. Got this piece right here, it broke. So I'm going to try to back this thing out. What we're going to do then is kind of start getting this thing out and assess what's going on with it. I know where it broke and everything like that. Hopefully we can get it working. If not, I want to at least get it to where we can push that up in there and get this side all the way back in, so at least it's not flapping around while we're trying to drive it. This thing does have a little hesitation right off idle, but as soon as you kind of get around on it a little bit, it cleans right up. So I'm thinking about getting a carburetor rebuild kit for this thing too if I've got time. It may just need ran too, I don't know. It used to not do any of that stuff, but like I said, this thing is set for a couple years now, so yeah, let's see if we can't get this awning out. Alright, must be metric. When in doubt, pull the 10mm out. Sure enough. And might help if we loosen it. I don't know how that even ever came out, but it sure did. So, anybody seen Layla? Oh, a crazy dog. I don't know where she's went now. Let me go wrangle her real quick. I'll be right back with y'all. Alrighty, Layla is reacquired, I guess you could say. So progress has been made. We've got the old piece out, so let me show you what I did to get that. So this is gonna be the piece that's gonna bolt right up to your dual shock, which I only found one spring in there, so I don't know why it's called dual spring. Anyway, I'll show you over here on this one. And I could have lost a spring, who knows? But these two bolts right here, or I guess that's a nut and that's a bolt, but took those two loose, started tapping, and this whole arm came out, which that's what we need to do because this is the piece that's broken right here, that little knuckle. So got to figure out how to get this off and figure out if I can aluminum weld this or not. Alrighty, so I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna try to TIG weld this out. Been playing around a little bit on this practice piece. That's about as much aluminum welding I've ever done. So get a couple pieces here. Went ahead and laid us a tack here, and then also a little bit down here. That's pretty warm still, so we'll see what happens. If I completely mess it up, I guess we'll just, I don't know, have to buy a whole new arm for that thing. Well, can't say it's going bad, can't say it's going good, but we're trying. Some really good penetration on the bottom here. Fingers crossed, I hope this will work. Okay, so I've got the new arm all reassembled. Got it welded up. Not the best job I've ever done, which, like I was saying, I haven't really welded aluminum much, so. Anyway, I think we gotta take this arm off before we can put this one on, because it goes actually inside here. Luke is here, as you can hear him losing his mind behind us.
Apparently Brent found a video of me eating it on the mini bike.
Yeah, he loves that.
Yeah, now everyone at work's seen it.
You said you wanted to be a star, Luke.
Yeah. That would have had mine, man.
I know. Remember, it's the G channel, though. We can't have what you had in mind on there.
I never said what kind of star I wanted to be.
Exactly. Oh, help us. Luke, can you help me for just a second?
No!
Oh no, it's upside down.
Did you weld it upside down?
No, that's just a piece I got. I can knock it out and turn it upside down. Alrighty, so the other night, some unfortunate stuff happened. I was out here, me and Luke started closing up shop, so I rolled our awning up, and right where we welded it, right behind the welds, it broke. So it's got some kind of cast aluminum. I'm not a big aluminum welder like I was saying, so there might have been a way you could have preheated the whole part and it might have been fine. I don't really know, but luckily I was able to grab a whole new arm assembly from Fiamma, or however the heck you say it, and I've got one, so that's what we're going to be doing. We're just going to install a whole new arm on this thing, and it should work perfect. Alrighty, so that should be the entire arm like we were needing. It's got this piece here, which has these two captured nuts inside of here, which might make that a pain to get off of our other one since I don't have any access to the back side of that. So what I'm going to opt to do is I'm going to take this piece here off because this piece on ours is actually good. Then we'll just bolt it on the other one, stick it upstairs, and it's something we'll have. But as this says here, caution, arm is under tension. So when we get ready to release this thing, I'll have to have my teeth clear because I don't really want to eat this thing. Alright, I'm going to snip this. Hopefully it doesn't donkey kick me into next week, but if it does, you guys will be here with me. Yo! It almost got me. Oh, Lord. That's pretty sweet. That looks exactly like what we needed. See, that piece right there is what broke, actually. Alright, I've got the old one off here. As you can tell, a little breakage occurred right there, but they are the exact same arms. Right there, where the weld was, it just decided to break all the way across there. And then down here, which, like I was saying, I mean, they're not the prettiest welds ever, but there was some decent penetration and everything. I think it got a little too hot, and that's just not very much material right there, so. Oh well, I'm sure somebody will let me know in the comments what I did wrong. Usually do. On the side of moving forward, let's start getting this new one in here. I think there's something that's supposed to go in the middle here also. It's got a place for like a hook. Maybe to get some of the sag out of it. But that's gonna be good enough for me. I'm happy with it. It's all staying where it's supposed to. So I'm happy about it. So that's one thing we can check off the list. Finally. Sunday I spent all day trying to fix that, and then it just ended up breaking, so good to get that back off the list. Alright, so it's next day. I'm just out here buttoning up a couple little things. Everything as far as drivetrain and everything like that I'm pretty confident in, even though I haven't really tested it much than just driving it down the road about a year ago. I just want to do a couple aesthetic things. One is going to be doing these wheels. I'm just going to do a quick spray paint job with some rally wheel paint that I've got for another project that I never ended up using. Just going to hit these things real quick. It'll make them look a lot better than this old rusty nasty stuff. I'm not going to do nothing too crazy like my usual restoration projects. So just got some degreaser here from the Sweet Patina. Just going to go around the surface, get a lot of this stuff off. I'm not going to focus too much inside of where the dog dish sits, just because I'm not really that worried about it, quite frankly. So yeah, I'm just going to wipe these things down real quick. And I know I'll get a lot of the hack comments, and you should have done it this way, and that's fine. But I'm not going to still, because it doesn't have to be a show rig. This thing is not a show rig. None of my vehicles are show rigs. I just want to have fun in it and make it look a little bit more presentable. If you're looking for show rigs, you're probably on the wrong channel. But if you're looking for rigs that get out and actually get used, I'll be glad to have you. So I'm going to get something real quick. I was going to do the old playing card trick. I've seen a lot of people do that where they stick them all the way around the wheel. It keeps it off your tire. I don't have any playing cards, so let's see what we can figure out. Got one done here. I kind of ended up making this little thing here. It's got some overspray here and there, but when we take this thing up tomorrow to get this thing washed, because you can see it severely needs it, I'll just take some steel wool or something like that and clean it up. But I just kind of rubbed around on that tire a little bit, and man, I think it looks pretty slick. I wanted to do black on these, just black with the steelies or dog dish caps, whatever you want to call it, but I didn't have any black, so I think the Rally Silver is going to be the next best thing. Sure looks a lot better than that does. Alrighty, so let's see how they look now. Like I was saying, I'm not super crazy about the silver, but I think it'll be just fine for what we got going on. Also added a license plate on there that Sweet Patina sent whenever he sent all of his cleaning products out to me. So let's get inside here, since that's where we're going to be dwelling for the weekend. Let's get this thing cleaned up. There's some mouse poopy back here on the bed, and I don't really want to lay my head on there, and I'm going to guess Hillary probably will not either. So let's get in here. Well, I didn't get it on camera, but my handy dandy shop vac here just let the magic smoke out, so I'm going to try to use this one that Luke brought down. It's a lot smaller, but I think it'll do the job. So one of my last things I've got to do to make the camping situation just a little bit more comfortable is get these seats down. They're both in the elevated position right now, so that's for watching TV, but that's not what we're wanting. I've got to replace an electric cylinder over here on this side. This side actually works, I just don't have it wired because unfortunately the two 180 amp hour batteries I had in the back of this that were brand new when I put them in are not taking any kind of a charge, so everything's just kind of dead back here. We're not going to be able to really utilize a lot of it as right now, but I just got it jumped around with my jump box, and I'll just show you how it's supposed to work. And take two. There we go. It's a really cool little concept. I need to get back here, get this other one. This used to have everything in here power. I mean, and you would run off these 180 amp hour batteries and it would be pretty self-sufficient for a long time, so I'd like to get it back to that. Alrighty, so my plan on this one is I'm just gonna run it up and I'm just gonna find something that can kind of stop it where it's kind of in line with this one. And that's what we're gonna go with this weekend. Alrighty, so I've got my new redneck mount here, which is super secure. Ended up just had a little bracket that was kind of already a 90 degree, so had this piece of wood laying around that was just the right length, so I ended up just shoring up this one. This was just a little taller, so everything's gonna be perfect now. That's really stable, so even when we sit on it or anything before we close the bed up, I don't think anybody's gonna be falling down. And I think I still got enough room. Maybe not, but there's some more additional storage down there, and that's where the batteries do go whenever I do have good working batteries. I was also talking about the inverter and everything earlier. It's pretty cool. I've got a cool little mount I built up with some dimple dies. Put some fresh air fresheners in here. This is the Instant Tangerine. That's my favorite. We do have a lot of those on the website. If you're interested, go grab you some. Help support the channel. It'll mean the world to me. We don't make a lot of money off of just videos, so, and I know you guys work hard for your money just like I do, and I completely understand that, but any little bit would help. We got these on there. Got some hats, some stickers, so check that stuff out. Link will be in the description for that website. You can go check that out anytime. Hopefully gonna have some shirts and more merch coming very soon. So it is the next day. It is Thursday, the day we're leaving for the shindig. I'm kind of doing dad stuff right now, watching the monitor and all that stuff. So I'm gonna try to pull this thing up to the house while Nelly sleeps real quick and just get this thing kind of sprayed off. I don't really care about it getting super clean, but there's just a lot of grime on this thing, so it needs to be cleaned a little bit more. So let's hit this thing with a quick cold start. What do you think about that, Layla? So these are some of the areas I was talking about. You can see, pretty gross. It's just set for a while. He's just chilling. But yeah, it's just dirty. So this thing actually does clean up really well, so I'm excited to get it cleaned back up again. I'm really kind of digging the silver wheels now that it's out in the sunlight. I don't think it looks bad at all. And I did find a Chevy 3/4 ton poverty cap out in the shop, so I had to throw that on there. I'm a Chevy guy pretty much through and through, even though everything I have seems to be a Dodge that's like a daily driver. But yeah, fuel area right there got a little gross, so let's get to washing. So rolling out, first time ever driving this van. So kind of nervous. I've got a pretty good sized load here. Yeah, first thing we gotta do is go pick up my buddy Randy. He's coming with us, so I'll catch back up with you whenever we get to Randy's house. Oh. You done lost your hand. Oh, there goes your arm, Randy. Goodness. Oh, good Lord. Buckle up, Randy. I don't want us freaking ticket, man. Oh, here's your hand. Randy's been working out. So Randy and I are on our way. You didn't actually think I had a real friend, did you? So, got some props from Dad's house. He's got this little doll, Michael Myers. He always dresses it up. We call it Randy. Then I got some more stuff back here. So, we're gonna decorate the camper up when we get down there and everything. As far as the camper goes, it's kind of not one to idle whenever we come to a stop, so I'm just doing the old double pedal, keeping her going right now. Hopefully it'll maybe come out of that once we drive it a little bit. I don't know, but we're on the road nonetheless, so let's get going. Grabbing a little gas down here. Still doing the idle thing, so I just left it running. I'm sure that some people are not going to like that, but rather do that than it not start again. So I ended up getting about 3/4 of a tank, and it started coming out of the fill tube, so I don't know if it's got the wrong cinder in it, what's going on, but yeah, we're back on the road now, so let's make up a little time here. Voltmeter is showing a little lower than I would like. Also, I already knew this, but I've never had this vehicle up to this speed, but the drive shaft has a small dent in it, I think from the rollover, so got a slight driveline vibration, but we're rolling with it. It'll be all right. It'll be something we can fix in the future on this thing. I don't think it's going to be enough to really hinder our trip, hopefully, so let's just roll on down through here. Check-in time. It is starting to rain, unfortunately. The windshield wipers look like they've definitely set as long as this van has, so I didn't rain-X anything, so that's unfortunate too. So yeah, if it gets too bad, I guess we can always pull over where we are in a camper for so yeah, hopefully the rain holds off though. I mean, that's going to really put a damper on some car counts, I would think. So yeah, everything seems to be going good with the van, except for that driveline vibration, and it's not one to idle when we come up to a stop, which if you put it in neutral or park, it'll idle fine, but as soon as it's in gear or has any kind of load, it's not one to idle, so I don't know. We'll have to figure that out on a later day, maybe tinker with it a little down here, or just do what we're doing and just live with it, so here we go. Alright, so we just had a pretty unfortunate event happen. I was in the busiest part of town, and I didn't do the method of neutral dropping, I guess, good enough, and it died. And when it did, we didn't have any battery, so I had to run in the back, pull everything out in the middle of all that busy crap, and yeah, jump start the vehicle basically. So that was fun. I guess I'm just going to keep trying to push it on. I need to probably find a voltage regulator, I guess it's seeming like. I don't know, we're looking like there's, I didn't bring a voltmeter, it's on me on that, but I just want to try to make it to this campsite, and then maybe we can, you know, we got 2 days to get this thing figured out then. I hate to get here and have to work on it again like I did last year with my dang 64, but looks like that's what we're doing. Well, that was pretty dang stressful. We're out on the interstate right now. I'm just kind of chugging along. Yep, I just want to make it to the show, and then Hillary, my wife, she's going to be coming down tomorrow. Maybe I can have her bring a voltage regulator, and I might just go ahead and put a whole new alternator on it. Just throw parts at it and be done with it. So might just do that. Oh man, it's always nerve-wracking when you break down in the middle of the road, because I mean nobody has any consideration for you, and it was all funneled down due to construction anyway. So man. that kind of stunk there, but I don't know. We're cruising right now. We got the jumper pack sitting right beside me in case something happens again. I can get out and fire it up. So hopefully we don't need it, but man, that really stunk. Hopefully the next time you see me, I will be at the show. Fingers crossed. Alrighty, so that was pretty interesting. We're finally here though. Luke actually made it too, behind me. And this is what he brought. It's our little 66 Ford F100 bed. He put his camper shell that he had on it. But we got our awning up, and it's kind of a pretty cool little area here. So we got this corner spot here to where we can kind of park some stuff around here, but it's also got this nice little brick thing. Luke brought his Blackstone, which we're gonna have a little bacon and eggs. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Egg, plain, gourmet.
Got bacon, eggs, got burgers for lunch. All the good stuff.
All the good stuff. Uh-oh. We even brought our puppy along. What are you doing?
I'm fine.
Day 2 down here at the shindig. I'm just going for a little morning walk. I usually try to run every morning, but I don't really feel like running down here, so just going for a nice little walk. Everything's shut up still right now. Luke's still snoozing, so I'm just kind of going around, see if I can get some coffee. Today we have a couple things we're going to be doing. As far as the van, my wife is coming down in the 64. I'm gonna have her bring a trickle charger. I'm gonna have her also bring a carb rebuild kit that I ordered for the van and just never got around to putting on. And I think me and Luke are gonna go try to get a alternator and a voltage regulator. Just go ahead and swap everything out. So yeah, that'll be fun. Always fun wrenching on a truck or something at the show. So nothing new for us though. So sticking here, we'll show you some show coverage also. Hopefully get the van running and driving better. Wake him up. What's him doing?
What?
What are you doing? It's 7 o'clock, we're burning daylight. So here's kind of a top view of the vintage camping. It's all along here. You just enter right down here at that building. But we're right here by the big Greyhound bus. Then all your vendors and everything are here. Then this is gonna be all filled up with cars. I mean, there'll be a lot today, but Saturday, that's whenever it'll really pack in. And then apparently they've got like a trick-or-treating thing this year for the kids over here in the vintage camping. So I kind of forgot all about this, but they're actually going to be doing a live chop on this car today. You can see they got their English wheel and everything over there, so that's going to be pretty wild. We'll definitely have to check back in on that, but yeah, they're going to chop the top on that old thing right here at the show.
Bachelors. Well, plastic ain't gonna work for a griddle. Ooh, that one might actually work. Flexible controller.
Alrighty, let's take a little bike trip around the eville shindig. Alright, so I'm inside the truck right now because they have a lot of music going on, and our YouTube doesn't like that. That's a demonetization strike or whatever. So we're about to start changing the alternator and all that stuff. So set you guys up on a little bit of a time lapse here. I'm not going to be able to talk a lot because of the music, and I don't really want to strike. So I can make the $3 off this video like I usually do. So yep, let's get to it. So if you've ever worked on an old van, you know you almost have to become a contortionist to get inside of some of the things. And then Randy, he was sitting right in the way, so we removed him so we could get inside. Then we proceeded to start disconnecting the things onto the back of the alternator. And then, as you can see here, we have got the alternator removed. Sitting there, ready to become a core, along with the voltage regulator. Then we ran back up to check on the guys, chopping the top on the old car. Looks like they're moving right along. Well, Hillary has made it. That's pretty cool. all happen right there. Hell, I'll probably get more attention having Corey Weed on my video than this. All right, day 3. It is the morning of Saturday, or Saturday morning as some people may say, but we're gonna be getting this alternator back on. I procrastinated yesterday just because it was the easiest thing to do. So I'm gonna get this thing slammed back together, and there's no music right now, so you guys can actually hang out without, you know, all the time lapsing and stuff. All right, gonna start sliding the new one back in here. That actually didn't do too bad. So we got the alternator in there. It's actually a 1 rib, which is actually what this van needs. So I think maybe I had the wrong one on there to begin with. I don't know. But got everything. Everything looks lined up and tensioned up really good. So happy with that. Now we gotta get this voltage regulator hooked up, which is right over there. So it is going on 9 o'clock. Luke is still sleeping. Rise and shine. So with Luke still snoozing, I decided I'd go ahead and start diving into this carburetor. As you can see, I've got a new rebuild kit here, and I just jumped right into it, started removing it, and this thing is kind of complicated. But it was pretty funny just watching people kind of looking at me rebuilding this thing on the doghouse of the front end there. So we got it all through back together, and it didn't turn out great, but it did help it a little bit. But I'm waiting on my dad. He's currently coming, and I'm gonna give him a wristband. But yeah, we replaced the carburetor and also that voltage regulator and rebuilt the carburetor, and it's still, something's just wrong. It's like that thing's running extremely lean. It's not getting enough fuel, because you can choke it and it'll idle up and run really good. And then also the alternator, something's still just kind of weird on that. So gonna try to figure all that out here directly, hopefully, or we'll just cruise her home like we did on the way down here and figure it out at a later date. So yep, that's the game plan. So Brent, my buddy here, he's won some kind of award. We're about to go find out what that is.
All right, next up in our top 10 pick category is winner Brent Poole in this 56 Ford. Rolling up here, Brent.
Sunday morning, one last little look around the campsite before I start breaking all this down. Definitely gonna try to get this spot again next year if possible. So I got the van on charge right now. I've had it on charge all night because the alternator is still not charging on this thing. So, yep. We're gonna try to just send it on home though, and then we'll fix that on a later day. So that's the game plan. Gotta get Luke's truck home. Gotta get the trailer home. And then I gotta come back and get this 64. So, gonna be an eventful day. Hopefully it's not too eventful though, and we can just get all this stuff home without much trouble. So, start taking down all this stuff, and then when I get on the road, I'll get back with you guys. Alrighty, so we're getting ready to head out in the van. We actually, in the parking lot, we did a 4-wheel drive swap and a Cummins swap. And by that, I mean, we got my truck. So, had to go back to the house anyway to get the 64 back to the house, obviously. So I was gonna have to drive back down here to get the van anyway. So I just said, what the heck, I just loaded the trailer up behind the truck and we're gonna pull this thing home. It's just not really worth it to me. I don't know, I don't have nothing to prove, so we're just gonna trailer it home and get all these bugs worked out. But first weekend in the camper ever, so it was pretty awesome. It was really good to get out, and a lot of people liked it, it seemed like. Let me know if you liked it, if you want to see more out of the old camper van. We kind of talked about a Gen 3 Hemi swap, possibly, so I think that'd be pretty cool. So let me know. Hopefully you liked the video. Hopefully you'll come to the Eville Shindig next year, and if you do, come by, say hi. Tell them bye, Luke. Bye. See y'all on the next one.